let me take this opportunity and introduce our guest. We're talking about none other than King Carlo. If you don't know who King Carlo is, he goes by the name Thabang Matuka and is in the building.
I got scouted by the current and former national team coach and former Kaizer Chiefs coach Mulifinte. So he scouted me and he took me to Harmony Sports Academy, Platinum Stars Academy. And then I was there for a year, played tournaments as well. There was a tournament called Super Sport Cup. I won the Super Sport Cup with the team. After that, the team went to England. We played your Chelsea, we played your Aston Villas. I remember my first trip to Old Trafford when I went with football stars. Cristiano was still at Manchester then. For 6 months, I couldn't break through. I injured my knee, and then it was just, and I mean, you know, man, young coming, Josie, full time, Feds, and whatever. Don't tell it any student they choose. Yo.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Majitana Bangwana, welcome to it. Another exciting episode of Game Time Podcast. You know, we bring them hot, we bring them to you. You've been wondering, what are they doing? What are they busy with? Boss. But important thing that we asking, don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to comment. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to share. You know, let the people know that, the Free State is doing great as well. But we are shooting from the Zone restaurant and car wash. Every time you want to pull through and have some fun, you are not from Bloem, you are from somewhere else, and you're watching the podcast and you're wondering, where is it happening in Bloemfontein? But the Zone restaurant and car wash, that's where it's happening. But for now, let me take this opportunity and introduce our guest. This man, hey, Kekerata Habita Klapele Anaidala Spain El Muñeca. Yeah, Al Muñeca. We're talking about none other than King Carlo. If you don't know who King Carlo is, he goes by the name Thabang Matuka and is in the building. Finally, Khotmani, we get to sit and chat.
Hey, my brother. Hey, it's been a long time coming. Eh?
Yeah, it's been a minute.
Thank you for having me, and it's an honor and privilege to be here, my brother. Thank you for the invite.
Man, how has it been like being now a guy that watches football on your screens and just being involved, outside the pitch?
Eish, my brother, it's a bit... It comes with a bit of love and hate, Yeah, because at times when you see players not doing what they're supposed to do, that's where the hate comes in. But when you see them performing to their utmost best, that's where the love comes in. And you can't help wonder and think about to say, hey, okay, if I was in this position, what I could have done, You're still playing the game even when you're watching it. You're still analyzing and saying, okay, there it should have been one touch. Okay, what if it was me? What would I have done? So it's a love and hate situation, but man, it's the love of football. The passion never dies.
Yeah, the passion never dies. The reason why I'm asking you this is because the other day, at one of the clubs, and I realized, I remember when I was in high school, Karasanza Shapadi Drete Batileda, and I was like, yes, Hotman is Hotman Ladikatino, and you start look at football and you watch and you realize, hey, Messi, Ronaldo, Batofei, and then you look at Thomas Müller, you're like, hey, this dude once excited us, and you start thinking about Boriberi and all of them, and you come home and you look at Botembazwa and you're like, hey, these guys might just retire anytime from now, Bona Vuyo just retired now as well. You look at such and you're like, damn, like we're growing, bruh. But nonetheless, Club World Cup referred to Mamelodi Sundowns collecting that much needed 3 points, though they are in a group that has the likes of Borussia Dortmund, but their start was quite amazing.
Yeah, thing is, you cannot want to say otherwise because of the brand of football. That's what brings confidence to us. Even though the score would have been gone either way, but you would know that these guys will be present. They will pull through to the occasion because fortunately for them, they've been tested. They've been playing CAF for a long time. So they know that the competition at that level. So now they just took it to another level, and it always gives them that experience because they'll come out with a lot from there. But I never doubted them. They've got quality players, and they've got, the core of the team is the national team. So national team, they're playing national countries all over the world. So they came there with confidence. The coach Cardoso is very experienced and is a magnificent coach. And the technical team in general. You've got your coach Steve Compella that instills discipline, that always makes sure that the dressing room is equal. You know, so I never doubted them. I always knew that it's going to be a good game. And fortunately, they had to come and rise to the occasion, of which they did. You know, so with upcoming games with Dortmund and everything, I don't doubt them as well. It's only a matter of learning and acclimatizing and adapting to the situation of the game. That's where, as well as individuals, it will take them, like, their mentality to another level. When they come back from the USA, they'll never be the same. The team is going to be a beast machine.
I'm scared, Baba. I don't want to lie.
Listen, they're going to be a beast. Plus the pockets are deep.
36 meters from just one game.
These guys are roughly listen, they're roughly going to come up like $500 million maximum. They'll be back with $500 million in the country.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy. It's crazy. Look. But hey, now Coach Cardoso has on clouds in fit. I don't want to lie. This is just my opinion. Maybe I just believe in the fact that Mamelodi Sundowns has got quality in terms of their players, you know, and they've been through different coaches that were pretty good, you know, and also mentioning Coach Steve. But nonetheless, the way that Tembinko Silo Chinyoso first game and fit to that money quality.
My brother, that's why they say form is temporary, but class is permanent.
Yeah.
And with Tembi, they might say, he will only perform against Man City, but I always say sometimes in life you only get one shot.
Yeah.
And maybe that was the opportunity that he knew that he needed because, Man City, who was not watching Man City? You've got Pep, you understand? So he had to come to that level, of which he did. And I know that he's consistent because he's done it at Pirates for some time. He's been consistent for so many seasons, season in, season out. So I'll never doubt that the next game, the form will dip or anyhow. But I believe that he'll take it another notch higher and he'll perform to say, you know what, the first game was not a fluke. But my brother, that guy came with his guns blazing.
Yeah.
He was armed. He was ready. He was prepared. And he was just missing a goal because I checked the stats between him and Foden as the player of the match. It was the only difference was the goal.
Yeah.
Other than that, I believe he should have won the player of the match.
Sure. Yeah, no. Homie competing with the likes of Phil Foden, you know.
Right, ones, bro. It does not come every day. Does not come every day.
But let's get to you. We are not here about the Club World Cup. You know, we hear about you, man. A lot of people would want to know Thabang Matuka. You know, you were at Celtic, you were at Maritzburg, you were at Black Aces, right?
No, it's Free State Stars.
Free State Stars, yeah. And then you went out to Spain. But just to give them a bit of background in terms of who King Carlo is and where you played, you know, give our viewers, man, let's remind them who King Carlo is.
Yeah, man. My name is Thabang Matuka. I'm born and bred in Bloemfontein. Yeah, so I started off my career Mokasi locally. There was a team called Missouri. Yeah, Bralita, Lita Mukitlani, the legend.
Yeah.
So we played there, and then we were playing tournaments in December. So there was a tournament that we played in Cape Town. It was at that time it's under 17 Coca-Cola Cup.
Yeah.
So we went there, and then we played. And I got scouted by the current and former national team coach and former Kaizer Chiefs coach Mulifinteki. So he scouted me and he took me to Harmony Sports Academy. So I went there at Harmony, but before I went to Harmony, I was at Brepna. So I went to Brepna grade 8 and grade 9. Grade 10, I had to leave. So that's when I spent most of my high school. And then that's when I played real football. And then I needed to navigate to say, is this the path that I'm taking, of which I was in a soccer school. And then I needed to shift my mind, to say, okay, because at school, it was a case of school and soccer. So now there it was literally, there was school, but the 80% was football. So that's when we played your under 16s, under your Motsepe Cup. We won that. And then I was involved in the Coca-Cola Football Stars. I was part of the last 16 that went to England.
Yeah?
Yeah. And then I played, we played. And then after high school, I went to Vets Academy.
Yeah.
There as well, I played. And then after that, the decision was like, okay, then I got to the national team. Then I was called up for the under 20. And then I was the youngest player because the then coach, of which Coach Serame, he said to me, I'm going to introduce you gradually to the system.
Yeah.
So even if you don't play, I'm going to introduce you gradually. So at that time, we had Abu Wayne Matle, we had Abu Jackson Mabukhwane, Tulani Serero was still playing, and then Kamom Kojo was still playing. Then he came into the system very early. Yeah, and then I started coming to the national team. I went to Platinum Stars Academy, and then I was there for a year, played tournaments as well. There was a tournament called Super Sport Cup.
Yeah.
I won the Super Sport Cup with the team. And then after that, the team went to England to go play to the winners. They were taken to England, so it was my second trip to England.
To England, yeah.
Yeah, so we played your Chelsea, we played your Aston Villas, so the academy systems, and then we watched a bit of football. I remember my first trip to Old Trafford when I went with Football Stars. Cristiano was still at Manchester then. They were playing Middlesbrough. So I got to see him live at that point. So...
How old were you at that time? Like, just remind us in terms of age. You said under 20s, but you were young.
I was very young, man. At that time when I went to England, I was a 15. I was like 15, 16. Yes, yeah. I was still very fresh in high school. So that was the opportunity.
Still fresh in high school isn't like Brebna or Harmony?
Harmony.
Oh, yeah.
Everything happened when I got to Harmony.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so my first trip was at Harmony with the Football Stars. We had the likes of Mandla Masango. That was a nice team. So we played, because we traveled with Bralu, Lucas Radebe, and then Sean Bartlett, Mark Fish. So we played Leeds, we played Charlton. Yeah, so, and then we went to Stamford Bridge, Chelsea Academy. And then before the late... is it Antonio Reyes, when he was playing for Arsenal?
Yeah.
We met him at the Nike store. He was going to fetch his boots, and then we saw him because we had a bit of pocket money, and then we went shopping. So we were given it was £200. That was a lot then.
Yeah.
So just to go shopping. So we went there to the Nike store, and then we bumped into Antonio Reyes, bro. It was like, okay, it's normal. Like, so those were the perks. And generally understanding that when you work hard, those are the rewards that you get. Those are the benefits. So, and then England the second time around, but
before, you were given £200 there as a 15-year, 16-year-old. What did you buy, dog?
Bro, I just bought... I bought tracksuits. I remember I bought an Arsenal, the 02 thing. It was just the top.
Yeah.
And then I bought shorts and some t-shirts, and then the other one I pocketed, to exchange. But on top of that, we had 10,000 rand that were given when we landed.
Okay.
Yeah. So I gave that to my mom. And then so even with Platinum, with Platinum when we went, it was the same thing. So I came back and then I gave that to my mom. So and then upon our return with Platinum, the second time around, I came, and then I went to a preseason. We were chosen. I was part of the 5 that went to preseason with the first team. So
Platinum Stars, that is.
Yes, that is. It was still in Joburg. I was on the verge of signing a first team contract. So we had the likes of Stanley Gata, Pumuzo Manenze then, your Edward Williams, you name them. So we were chosen, and then we went to a preseason tournament in Port Elizabeth. We played Super Sport. We played Super Sport and some local teams. So I remember I was sharing a room with Pumuzo. Yeah, the legend. So yeah, Pumuzo was my roommate then, and we were very close with the likes of Steve. We were very close with the likes of Steve Lukwele as well. He was like literally my brother then. So yeah, and then boardroom, my brother. Yeah. Tate Omtetjeken, my brother. Hey, man, things went south. I was told that I must sign the apprentice contract, and that's where the battle came in to say, you know what, it's not going to be possible because the head coach was Miguel Gamondi and the assistant was Kevin Johnson. Miguel was literally, I want this boy, but we fought in the boardroom. They say there's no way I must sign an apprentice contract first. So for the first team, I was going to be on a 2.5 salary. I said, that's not possible.
What year is this? We want to make sense of what that 2.5 was worth at the time.
This was 207. 207. And I felt like I had the quality and I played development. So I cannot play development more than that. And time to go to another level, you cannot give me 2,500. That's not possible. At least if you've started, let's talk about 7K or 10K. But 2.5 was too little for me because at the end of the day, I was away from home.
But how did you know that 2.5 was too little for you? I mean, I'll tell you why. A lot of footballers, they look at the opportunity to play than look at the money. I mean, we've spoken to different people here, and you realize some made their decisions on signing the contract looking at the fact that I'm going to get to play for the first team. This is my first professional contract, right? Now that's your first. And you're like, 2.5 is little.
Hey, my brother, honestly, I believed in myself and I believed that I could get more because I possessed the quality to move to a next level. And that 2.5, I was supposed to get it while I was still at development.
Yeah.
That was the entry level of the contract at development. Now that because I played the development for a year, that's when I should be receiving the 2.5.
Yeah.
Now I'm jumping to the senior team. Now only then they want to give me the 2.5. It just didn't make business sense.
Did you have anyone who was advising you then?
Yes, at that time, Kumbulani Kongo took me to Platinum. He advised me. My brother, Thabang Matuka, was there as well. He just didn't make sense of it.
Yeah, I didn't want to call your brother in.
Yeah, but
those who know, they know.
Yeah, that was my agent. So it didn't make sense. Yeah. And then he just said, come home. I went home.
I wanted you to, I don't know why people like dilly-dally. I wanted you to go there from the onset to say, look, I had these people and they were guiding the process. Yeah. Why do I want you to go there? One of the things we want to do with the podcast is to give the youngsters an opportunity to learn from your stories, guys, to say, you are given a contract somewhere, you get there, we are same age with Zico. Zico is earning 30K. I'm making him an example. And then I get there and I'm given 5. How, Sway? And it's only if you get the right information that you'll get there and fight for your place and fight for what you are worth.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's get to it. So they say 2.5 and then you say no.
Because the thing is, I was supposed to go there for the first team, actually. Because the mandate was like, even with the coaches, Mulifintegi was advising it then. Coach Ramel Tswaka was advising it then. So I needed a solid team to compete for the national team because most of my national teammates were playing first team. So the idea was go there, get into the system so that you can proceed properly. Because the initial thing was to go there for the first team because it was not going to make sense for me to move from academy to academy of a club. Let me move if you're going to go to an academy of a club for the first time, it makes sense. But I was developed for 3-4 years, enough to be in a first team after the academy.
Yeah.
Because I've won almost everything at development level. We've competed with almost everyone that was playing first team beyond high school. So it was like, okay, go there, get into the system, and then you'll move your way up, of which it happened. But only then they wanted to reverse the issue. They confused issues to say no, only. But I know it was political because there was this one person that didn't really like me. Everyone liked me, but this guy didn't like me. So he did that on purpose because even after I refused the contract, he chased me away. He said I must never be part of the team. But Les Robler said, you know what, I need you.
Yeah.
Les Robler is the father of Bradley Robler.
Sure.
So he said, I need you. And then said, okay, fair enough. And then I met this guy during the process and he came to me and said, Mfit, you know what? These people are wasting your time. And I agreed. And then he took me to Swallows. And then
how old are you while you're making those moves now? Now we've moved from...
I'm 17, 18.
17, 18.
Yeah. So Utloli came to me and then he said, you know what? I've got something for you. Because at that time we're playing Joburg League. So everyone was, you know, they would come there to scout players and stuff. So I went there for training. Swallows. I trained at it's Linksfield. It was Ian Goro at that time. Trained with Swallows. He was impressed. And then, I don't know, my brother, the news traveled fast. News went to the office.
At Platinum.
Bradley Frobler called me. Where are you? I was like, you know what? I'm leaving. These guys, they're not taking me seriously.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? I know the pain, but please come. You know? And then I went to training. Ian Goroa wanted me the following day. I was going to train for a week and I was going to sign for Swallows. And then the move got cut and stuff like that. And I was like, you know what? It's fine.
Why was the move to Swallows got cut?
Because my brother, like I said, it was technical because now they wanted to keep me for themselves at Platinum. At the same time, they didn't want to give me what I
you wanted
deserved,
yeah.
You know? So it was a bittersweet situation for me. So I needed to decide what for my career. But at the end of the day, I needed to respect the people that took me there. So I needed to respect Kumulani because it was his contact. So I went there, I finished the season. And then after...
So you finished the season while playing development?
Yeah, I finished the development season. I never made it to the first team. The only time I was at the first team was the preseason. And I came back. I went there to finish the league. And then I went to England with them and I came back. And then after the England trip, it was finished.
Yeah.
So that was in 2008. And then I came back home December. After I landed, I think I had a week or so. It was on a Sunday. I was at church. So Coach Simon Khopane, the former Celtic goalkeeper, he fetched me from church. It's like, brother, like he literally went into the church. It's like, guys, I need this guy.
Yeah, what church was that?
The St. Mark in Roma, I'm phase 2.
Yeah.
And then I was like, well, he did it the first time, so I knew when I see his face, it's a national team collab.
Yeah.
Came out. My mom came out as well, had to rush. She's like, Mama, I had to rush home.
Wow, let them really busy.
Hey, dude, it happened twice, bro. So he came, he fetched me, and then I had to go get my stuff, rush to the airport, only to find out that there was a national team call-up for the AFCON in 2009 in Rwanda. Went to camp in Joburg. That was the last time I saw my parents for that year. I came back the following year. Went to Joburg, went to camp for 2 weeks, prepared, flew from Joburg, went to Kenya for a week, and then went to the tournament for 2 weeks. So that was like 5 weeks. And then, I played most of the tournament. I played all the games, basically, at the AFCON. It was the under-20 African champion. It was in Rwanda in 2009. So I played there, played all the games. And then Coach Seramu was still the coach. Maksud, we had the late Brasten as an advisor. Tam Kwena was there as an agent because he had his players there. So we had a big team there. We had a huge crop. Telango Beni, Tulane Tlatswayo, Ramahle Mpahlela, Pumelele Bengu, Mandla Masango, Tulane Serero, Michael Morton, Tulane Ncepe, George Maluleka, Pilane Kwela.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the team basically. Kamuelo Mkojo, bro, those were big names. Those were the top guys at that time.
Yeah, no, definitely.
So
yeah.
that's when we qualified for the AFCON for the following World Cup.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, I couldn't make it to the World Cup because I didn't have a solid team that I played for. So and then after that, we came back. Actually, I had 2 offers. My brother had already negotiated with Vets. Well, Tamukwena wanted me to go to Marseille in France.
Yeah.
And then I took a phone. I said, my brother, this is what is happening, because actually he was my advisor. So it's like, you know what, come home, we will take it from there. And then I asked Walter to wait, but unfortunately Europe, if you don't, there's a period, there's a window. If you don't take advantage of that window, they go look for another player.
Yeah.
So I came back only to find out that, the deal is done. So from the airport, or Tambo, my flight to Bloom, I had to reschedule it because I had to go sign a contract. So from the airport, I went straight to the Bidvest Vets offices. I signed a contract and then I became a Bidvest player. So that was my first contract for PSL at that time.
2008.
Yeah. So I signed a contract and they said it's 6 months and then we're going to renew. Okay, fair enough. And then I came home for a week or so just to rest. And then, I got a check of 50K at that time.
What, was it a signing on fee or
no?
Just a check?
I'm saying the check from the national team.
Oh, from the national team.
The benefits of the national team.
Yeah.
The proceeds. So I
50K at under 20.
Yeah.
I'm a big numbers, I'm not no.
No, sharp no. If Vele Safa because Safa then was a now it's standing Basokola Coffee's team. Imagine these boys. So then it was a fair game.
No, yeah.
So got 50K, gave it to my mom, bought her whatever she wanted, her wish list, and then went to Vets. Vets I played. I trained. Vets. It was tough. It was tough because it was big players, man. I signed young with literally because it was Abo Winstanley. I was competing with Rene Richards from Chiefs.
Yeah.
We had your Ashraf Hendricks. We had your Dale Stuzuski. Richard Ranchi. So we had players that were playing at Energy Murambandoro. So it was big players. So it was not easy to break through. And whereas previously, when I was still at development, I think I went to Supersport as well when Kevin Hunt was there.
Yeah.
So I went for trials and it was not possible because they had Abu Ricardo Katz, Abu Kaname. That's what he told me. He said, my brother, you are a good player, but as you can see, the people before you. So that's when I met Ricardo.
Yeah.
That's when we became friends with Ricardo.
Yeah.
And fortunately, he came to Grey. That's when we became friends. We saw each other again,
Yeah.
So I went into the football system at a very young age, and I got to experience the retired players now, the called legends. They were my teammates back then. You understand?
Yeah.
I was learning from them.
Yeah.
So, Vets 6 months, I couldn't break through. I injured my knee. And then it was just, and I mean, man, young coming, Josie, full-time, Vets, and whatever, Don't tell it any student they choose. Yo. I'm Jaga of the field young Kawata Joe. Like it literally in Kawatile of the field. Jimmy come to Joe's. It was nice, bruh, because I feel like gaming, VIP. I mean, you're a first team player. When you walk there, kada. Brixton is it's Brixton and then Auckland Park. So when you walk kada and Jaka, everyone knows him and I'm not love it. I'm not a national team player. So Oshapo, like he just and then Kakabata Lingwele. So it was a case of we're not gonna renew your contract, then it's fine. And then I came home. And then after that, that's when I think a week, and then I went to trial go Supersport for 2 weeks. So Supersport had Abon Chumaelo then, that team that won the league. Abo Pool and stuff. So I spent 2 weeks there. Usually a trial takes 4 days, my brother. I stayed 2 weeks. Training. That's how Gavin said, in fact, unfortunately, because now these two are there. They are working hard, and maybe in a year or so, because these guys are my first two choices. And I think they were not that old. They were still in their peak. And then I came back home, and then I joined Roses. I went to Roses, go ABC.
Before Rea Roses, story you kila bona motho ha glow a bua something like ke bona excitement e ngwe ntate ha bua ka re hey wa tseba vetsi ntate ne dintsha ntate ke ye kana ene o khaza mina o retail boss o ka tsaba o qoqela ne dintsha what's going on man
Munna, like I said,
off the field, what was going on?
Utsore ya go dlala vetsi o dlala national team ko tsamayang teng fethu ke autograph ke phone number. Actually kana go tseo Facebook was very popular. So I remember at that time nekele Facebook, and then I got so many invites, and then big invite I get this girl from Pretoria. Because obviously the game starts live on SABC1.
Sure.
So obviously ki support Shebula Polo. Him and I get a request to get Jira da Chabising. I still remember Chabising on Chabilin. And then so inbox. Our is in jar. Inbox idia chaser. Inbox conversation. You know. I get like fitla vezi. Njaka neke shapa Pitori. Josie Pitori. Hakaza gym.
Oh my teeth and Tabelenga pakin Tabisi.
Josie Pitori. Neke jola Pitori. That's when I started liking Banyana Pitori too. And the language. This is where I belong. Oh, I want. And
let me tell you something funny. This one girl in one of our interviews back then, you remember we had a few interviews with other media houses, right? Was like, oh, Thabang, oh, that man Koluna, Atabanonangamna show, like Damanonangamna. And I just realized now when you say you were at Breb now, that's not Breb na marare. Unfortunately, I want to go Pitori Guamo blow.
So yeah, I think relationship is still about 2 months. Man, it's fine because no so baba.
Competition.
It was a huge competition.
Yeah.
So yeah, I played, trained, and then.
But when you get to Wits, right? Remember, you didn't sign a professional contract go platinum because of the money issue. So when you get to Wits, is it satisfactory?
It was, and because of thing is go platinum. They just said, remember, it has to be clear, and the contract was never clear. It was a case of utlo sign a contract. 3 years, and 2.5. So it was not case ke 2.5 the next season it the next season it 2.5. So the previous guys, Libona, they were on that thing, but Libona, there was like, Mfit, Sky Dumela this thing because get trap. Once you 2.5 you sign, but go do 2.5 for the next 2 to 3 years.
You?
And how I complain about the key or signing level. So don't do that. Don't fall for that trap because it took them about 4 years, Libona, and some fighting for Reba Fitleda. So 2.5 year, it was never clear for it. 2.5 until when, how, what, those things.
Yeah.
That's when because in any case, letting contract you has a first team contract to go platinum. Ke apprentice. Udlala first team you're on an academy contract.
Yo. Yeah.
So kwa like first team contract.
Yeah.
Kwa like academy contract. Udlala o first team though. So that's where the difference was.
No, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. Let's now move to you coming back home and then you just left Wits and then you now play at Roses.
Let's say Roses, and then Roses was competing for the league, was competing to get promoted to the NFD.
NFT, yeah.
So, I registered and then I remember we won the league. The coach was Benjamin Reed and John Carlo. Yeah. So we played, we won the league, went to the playoffs, Kompumalang. I think that was the first playoffs, the Roses. Unfortunately, we never made it through and I didn't take part at that time. And then, you know what? I was like, it's fine. We came back to Blom. And then in LA, that was that was 2009, second half of the year, around, because by lead playoff on June, we came back, and then we started playing friendlies, and then there was a point that Lala friendly, then United FC, Nedlalako NFD. So we played a game. After that game, hence Kichokere, sometimes it only takes one opportunity.
Yeah.
I came in second half. Sure, no sense 15 minutes, but I destroyed the game. United was interested. I signed a contract with United. It was for a season though. So, Kanakoila in the NFD in a rounds 8-3. Yeah, first round, second round, and third round. Yeah. So I joined the team. And then my first game was against Tax, Nedbank, Go Kimba. Played. And then I think I played only in the second round because Neke computer Shonolo Nonyan, who played finally Captain Baroka.
Yeah.
I think
can't
at some
remember
point
him
he played at national team, but it was a left back. Let's see, Onalala Baroka. So I played. The goalkeeper was Nkosana Maseko at that time. Junior Kanye was there. Abu Kibe. So it was a whole lot of experienced players. And then...
Isn't this the United that Kabila played for?
Yes. Kabila was my teammate. Thabang Matuka.
When I signed a contract because Kabila will sign it to Ekaing.
I better contract the guy. Oh, I remember I met Richard on Hanna Ranix a Brown. We met in town. I remember Kapil casting now. The register and things were done. So Shapo.
I love that team, dog.
So, I love that
team.
Like,
dog.
you know
they
what?
moved. They didn't have time to play.
Mamela. Fast. No.
Yeah.
So,
but they held you nice in terms of body payments and stuff.
yeah, but that guy, well, he pushed. Yeah, nah, he tried. Shame on.
Yeah.
Because Ishman, ho rana soccer guy.
I know I'm well.
It's quite tough, my man. So, we struggled too.
Yeah.
Struggled, but in a feature, you know, even though after some time.
Neshapu Adhala United, yeah? In the second round.
So, and then that's when season I think ibefela into 2000 and yes, 2000
2010.
2010, yes.
Yeah.
So I fela second round ho botla coach Eshwin Setting ke le Khalati. So unatswa Jozi. So be re dlala. And then he said to me, next season, the following season, kopa ska sign anyway because ke tlo ya Maritzburg. And Ian Palmer gutlela ya Maritzburg. So Ian Palmer ke umpitsitse ke tlo ba assistant. So please don't sign any contract. Ne sharp. And then ra gutla off season re dutse. He's quiet. And I'm good. I told my brother, told my mom, hey man, it's a langa di man. O thotse man. Bawo. Ha mana nako ya vaya.
And then right now about to take
Hi mana. I get my brother wanted to make moves, but he cannot because he's khutile ke sky. Hey man, sharp. I think Timine Bula Kausan. That man kafuna today. Aramana Kausan bole debe. Jesus. Kana go tse road linki salite.
Yeah.
That's the only buzz e yang debe. I didn't know. Give me phone let's have an accident. I left at 6. Ka fitla kada in the afternoon. Hamana nele boma. Just 10-hour drive.
You.
Sharp ka fitla Maritzburg e banglata ko bus station e ka fitla. Took me to an apartment in Mokiloplomati. Train for a week. After training for a week, did the trial list they called us to say, well, night was not a trial as such, it was just training. But, you know, now Sanse ba kopanya is the trial list. Puleza office, fitla da, contingent wa fitla. My brother, they want you, the coach is interested, here's a contract. Wow. Okay. Quentin, thank you. Phone my brother. Loudspeaker. At that time, my brother was at Chiefs. Yeah. Who am I speaking to? You're speaking to Thabang Matuka. So he didn't know who he is. So, no, we want your brother. So we're going to sign a contract. So this is how it goes. For 2 years, 2 years option. Ne sharpo. It's gonna be a performance-based contract though. So the first salary 5,000, but it's like as the performance goes.
Yeah.
And then signing on fee, he has to play certain games. I had to play 10 persons, so 5 first. So now I cut that into 3.
Yeah.
The first installment I get Tola straight away as season start. Second installment then I get Tola let's say 5+ games. Second installment Leona 5+ games, of which is the second half of the season.
Sharp.
Yeah. No, fair. I mean, let's move. And
then you sign.
And then I signed the contract. Sharpo. And then I came and then Beredlala Premier's Cup. Go Tebene. Played the Premier's Cup. And then after that I came home. You would see about 3 to 4 days before the actual preseason. I went, played. I remember my first game was against Vets Plus.
Yeah.
Yeah. Starting lineup, Punja. First game, beat Vets. Well, it was a not. You know, Friday nights, Baba.
Yeah.
I miss those Friday nights.
Yeah.
Friday nights was the night, so played. Did well, played the necessary games. And then I actually completed the 4 years, Maritzburg.
Yo, so you took that optional 2 years.
But they exercise it.
Yes.
So Kibona by exerciser. So I played the 2 seasons. They were happy. They exercised the 2 years. So I stayed 4 years, Maritzburg. I played my best football there. I enjoyed everything about being a professional athlete. I did everything right. kore even though vele of the field you know wa itse majita man. But in actual fact, I enjoyed my life.
Who were you hanging around at that time when you were at Maritzburg?
The first seasons, ne ke tsamaya le Khulekane Madondo. Ne re mmitsa Chili's. Khulekane, Jabulani Mobeni. Yeah, the youngsters. And then as time proceeded, Bavaya, and then thingy came, Ndu. So we became close, Lee and Ruben Klute. So yeah, those were the
guys you used to hang out with.
I used to hang out with Maritzburg. So yeah, and then he left Lena, and then I knew my way around, so I didn't need anyone as much. And then after the last season, then we had a crew. Hebra Steve. Ayanda, Thokozani, Skotlung, Villa, Vigil Freezy, and Natepo. She's in the 7-8. Pilani, Onali Chiefsy. So, Navarabita Al Qaeda.
Why Al Qaeda?
Narabo Manja.
Leboma.
Narabo Maritzburg. Yes. Rachel like her.
Leboma Maritzburg.
And Rachel, Arifita Cubana. Neretse Nagasapatali. We were the only guys that were allowed to come in with sweatpants because no one's parody sweatpants. Harafita Kada, we were directed straight to the VIP.
You? No
payment, no nothing, straight because by it for a reto. So mana enele normal Joe.
What you know what would be the most amount of money that you say, hey, le life itala bomba, and you look back, you're like, yo, this was a lot.
And it's extravagant it. I mean, mana the amount that would pay Kiboma
15K.
Yeah. But that the most amount that was paid was Boma. I remember Steve guy. Boma 70K. And I thought can top 8.
Yeah.
Yeah. Carry Sadar 70K.
Coach Steve compare.
Yeah. 70K for Billy for Machita Coffee.
Kishwa better ka motivation in le botabu.
Never. I do that Grotman, that's no problem. And then the most amount that was spent, it was when I hosted a birthday party.
Yeah.
That was the most crowd that I've pulled.
Yeah.
Even the owner gave me 2 bottles for free. I rata Belvedere kana ko. I intend that I am not 2 bottles there.
Ka soccer players le Belvedere ona le.
Ja, I pulled the most crowd there. Like I think area in Elekana, Kaidama Katie was so for me at that for play. Kaidama Katie.
What was that amount?
Eh?
What was that?
It was my birthday.
Yeah.
The demarcation.
No, I'm saying you said the highest amount was on your birthday. So I'm like, what was the amount?
Oh, that was about around 30 to 35K.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So the whole area spent that much. Even people outside and everyone else.
Yeah.
So they managed to go for manachwa.
The bottle of
So I was a Belvedere drinker, bro.
Yes. So actually, like Maritzburg for you was nice on and off the field.
Yeah,
basically
it was life at large. And then I met in my last days. Beke kopana le Lebo. Omtsiba Lebo Mukwena. Lebo Mukwena. Moblom.
Oh yeah. The one.
The one.
That one.
Lebo Mukwena. Onale Maritzburg kana kwe.
Oh yeah. Wait, I want to make sure we are in the PSL. Is that?
Hey, I'm talking about that one.
Okay.
Yes.
Sure.
So katna kwe onale Maritzburg ke tlhakana lena ke tswa casino ne because ne ke dula aufinyana. So ha ke tswa casino nona le restaurant club type of vibe there. So ha ke khutla be kopana le ene so ke utlwa man di mane o bua Setswana man e re o bua Setswana sa Blom mona o tswa kae ke tswa Blom mona le nna ke tswa Blom sharp o Bloma ka ya ke Bloma am pontsha di zone tsa gago and then ona Bloma le Medi wa bona so things got sour he got chased away abatlo Bloma le I think re Blomme for the rest of my days ko Maritzburg
yeah
re bloma ke re mfethu you know what I don't have much but come stay with me wa bona looked after him as a brother and Rabashapo and then I left and then asala but o setse e le gore the opportunity se di le teng wa bona because go ke van le ene mona ke mama so yena obviously he took advantage of it again. Because I knew a lot of business people. He's a footballer, especially in a small place like Maritzburg. Everyone loves you.
Yeah.
Because they go watch you and they understand you. So, Ninu, Ablo Mara, Fitz, so, Yemen. Ocho, Okadira Plana, Kimmo, Yemen, Hitiking, one Gabatla, one trim, and Kennedy man, Mukene Buale, Abuele Bat, Abeshap. So, Abasha Apolebo, and then I left him, but thank God he became okay.
Yeah.
And that's one of the life-changing stories that I don't talk much about because I'm not that guy. But I always say, somewhere, somehow, if Okhana contribute to life or change a life, then that's a good thing. So I did contribute and change his life, and I'm happy to see him where he is today.
Yeah,
you know.
And then you then leave Maritzburg, and then
after top 8, Ratola a ceremony. I got a call straight from Bramex Chavala. Hey Matuka, what's alive? Hey Bramex, what's again? Fortunately, they said they're not going to give me an extension, a contract. So, I do 4 years, I get sharp, man. Areman, sharp, too high. It's time to come home. So, it's now what it's a half a Celtic, now what Rashila Roses, because that's what he said. He said, you know, Russia Roses said at some point, team, I would like you guys to reviving Halagot because he loved that team and he loved the group. I'm Fonela. And then Carlo Maritzburg, I went straight to Joburg to my brother. Kamle Lebras. That makes some phone it. Ari umpatlachai. Mama. Fitla kontlu. Ake fitla raya plus majitawa ke ba sign la Southern Sun. So by itse ha bona Khumbulani ka bona mang le player itse the guy is coming.
Yeah.
I said, you know what? Can I do it?
I wish I knew that information. Southern Sun. Next thing I get into a radio show since I mention.
Can I get it? Can I do it privately?
Yeah.
And then Berea base vatere go the office in there. And then that's when I signed the contract. Signed a 3-year contract. So that's when I came back home. Came home.
Yeah.
Man, welcome home, King Carlo. The bloom lights were lighting. Everyone was happy.
When you come back home, who were you competing with at that time? In your position?
Ke fitlhe ka ntone ke fitlhetse tumelo mogapi. Because ke fitlhile ka Clinton. I found Coach Clinton. It was Coach Clinton. Yeah, I think it was Coach Clinton.
Yeah.
And he was already here for about 2 years. So Tumelo played some games. So I think life changed half its over. Yeah. Because it was a case already. Because I remember there were 2 squads. Ne? Honale, ka MTN 8 squad said let's English Chiefs first leg ka yi. And then the second week in the Pirates, and then the third week in the Chiefs. So he changed the team for Pirates match so that he can save Bale for the second game. Katiro nakahi hanjarabela nja. Kare dumisa Free State Stadium kare tla ja Pirates 1-0. Ke ne re tla bela ge.
Ke feta le lo.
Ai nja. Ka sa fete le gona ka e change. Ka ba lo mshapa Jozi. Hi sis, we since neta. Kylie newspaper criticism. Intato wentse njalo. Batho ke ba le ba prove gore ba dlala and then wena o lo change kada and then bono wa jewa. So that's when the decision came in. Kavaya them. I got a courseran. Access.
Means game time, papa.
Game time. Get the happy blind. Game time.
Yeah.
Played. So Kika Sima. Kidula Northridge. Kidula North. Wabo. Normal.
Yeah.
Hey. How busy were Bijwa?
Yeah.
How invite you? By invite.
By invite.
So, man, it was hectic, my brother. Yo. No. I'm telling you, my brother. You. I wanna know the rich.
Yeah.
Albert Height.
Yeah.
About our child, about Paplom. Or no. Pella, Kokuno Kidula thing. I was the first person to move in there. Those apartments were new. I was the first person to move in there. Kai in a wait just on this side in LA. Can I get my dogara? I shall jog my memory. Opposite in El Tlavika, Palani, down the road to in LA, Mahlasela, Lizuma, how Potela and LA record. Hazes. I enjoy. I call. Volfo at look like Hamora. Oh, Kada in a Lindenga. In a Lindenga. So Shapo, Rapusha, Katla Saina 2nd January. Katlu like next door. Pala, Manako. And just Saturday, no Shapua party. Oh, it's again. Palana Shapa party. Nick Shapa party. Makala Dashape party. Wait. Volfa Shape party. Nala speaker as a ska. Shape party. Zuma Shape party. Before Mahlasela, enele Mahlasela, after Mahlasela Kauta Jamulan 1D. Alodula Lishain, April. Down. So nele bafana ba kana ke rata o blomada. Marabane ne se batho ba mo ferefere blind. Zuma dula ka yi. Zuma Shape party. Emana o bona banyana ba dira.
Same girls.
And a lady group. O bone group wa di kena giti. Engwe re phalane, engwe makhalat, go tsenwa ka ona, engwe potele e, engwe jikele kada. So gopola ha ne re etsa season ele ba fetine batla video. Ha ne re etsa season.
Yeah.
Ke sure we would count about 30 girls, ne? Bana ba ne ba pharita, ne le corridor man e telle wa bona. Ne ba tsama so, ha ba utla party ya go monate ne ba ya kha, ha ba utla go monate ne ba ya kha, ha ba utla go monate ba ya kha. Just like that. Le nna ke tlo ko nna ke lo sheba ka uzuma dintshang, a tlo kada a ba tlo checka kada hore ke bomang. You get my point?
Yeah.
Ke poteka ika o bara ke bone bo bara tshwere bomang. Just like that. But the nicest thing is that it was like in a real community. We good teaming, we had each other's backs, and we loved what we did.
Yeah.
So it was, I think, to a point whereby I believe it got exaggerated to, in a sense that there should have been a limit at some point to say, you know what, man, Ricky cutted these things and let me focus on doing this because it catches up, Wabon. I always say, hore, as much as khote, you can drink, but you can play. It catches up with you. In this sense, if you had a rough weekend, ne? When you get to training, you overcompensate.
Sure.
You overwork to a certain limit, and it overworks the muscles. So if you do that consistently, the muscle and it starts showing in a match. So I started not lasting go gaming. I started 90 minutes. I started 70. Why? So it minimized my performance. Minimized my performance. So, but in any case, I played a year ko Celtic and I didn't play the other 2 years. Well, the main thing was hore. It was my off the field antics.
Yeah.
But only to find out later hore there was deeper issues in terms of politics.
Sure.
Previous politics, of which I won't go deep. I won't mention.
Sorry,
So it was deep politics with my brother and stuff like that. What happened when he was working there and stuff like that. So I got to find that out.
Yeah.
But in any case, I didn't want to dwell on it. I was like, let me leave, Wabon. And I had to learn not to accept part of it in Eleona, the off the field. And one of the things, well, Aishmana, the left bag and the company well, Aishmana ka moment. I come as good is. Ka moment. Hal. And allowed Chakasiaka, Kautiaka, I knew him from Harmony, Kimoka. It just had to come to a point that I competed with Celtic.
Yeah.
Halman. And it the relationship got affected because off the field to do la big opposite. So I needed to watch my back because I wouldn't know what would happen.
Sure.
So, and I loved him. It was that money to a point whereby from Harmony we like I played football like
Yeah.
It's and we played football but different. I but ball and we knew.
Yeah.
So I don't know to a point whereby it had to come to say, okay, the best left back. I don't know why it led to that point that
because we had him. He spoke about that a little bit. I don't know if you watched, but he's like, hey, Thabang Matuka 051
Hemana session mana. I think it was a mistake. It was a mistake. So within that, hence the relationship was affected.
Yeah.
So mistake and so it happened hore ebe 50 and then I went over became Raya, but it was not intentional.
Sure.
And then I apologized. So but the coach Kamulele. So he thought in his mind he believed Coach Ungasai. So Coach Kamulele kamo session. And then it just made matters worse.
Yeah.
It just made matters worse. Whatever.
Yeah.
And then we played. And then after that, I never saw him for a while because after Celtic, I never was Dira. I coached Ramekaya Free State Stars in January.
Yeah.
And then I went with him to Free State Stars.
Oh, well, you spoke about off the field and you've gave us a bit of your professional side. There are a few things before we wrap it up because we don't know. I think Lo and I got to talk about two for sure. There's a lot going on. Spain,
Almuñeca.
Yeah. But now I'd never. I remember there was one viewer ya rona mo on one of the episodes ala complain a re Mpikisona tatetse o botsa ka enana ya dintho tsene di sebediswa da en fait ga tsa thupa ya shapuo ko qoqeletsa hao da
Tupa like as in
bolo thupa as in like thupa bolo ga tseba ge ntate le tola le dishaka
emana na experience ke go United ano fitla o apara jersey le metsi ina le ntho tse brown ning tlamele o tlole bata ai monna o tlole bata jo and even if you don't believe what ke team ne and then how fitla well Celtic obviously ke body individual o etsa ntho o tla fela motho a nkga ntho o tla for hal diamond ke mpepho mo
tsa dinyeka
o tsa dinyeka ning o bona body ntho di kentswe ka dieteng gore ye ke mathata so now I was very careful in terms of who I share with and le go Kempo the aura meant a lot and ka o bona o tla o hlapa ke bona metsi a le pinkite a ka o gapa jo ke o gapa like okay go pouch a ke bui why ke re fela ai man I come with an excuse e utlwahalang I can't continue with this guy is untidy but thunyana tse jwa but emana ba ishapa da I remember at some point re kopotse re dlala le Cosmos yo bra J ha dlale yo that's one person asa dlaleng asa compromising ka dialing bra J how can I dressing room so ke musi wa ipotsa o etsalane tshwantse o fete o kene ka dressing room ya hao ha o kene ka dressing room ya hao o sentse o sheba tlare you like wa check gore what's what wa bona how do le mnata how change mnata Pirates Orlando Stadium hanja how kena ka da wa hatsela like wa utlwa for man ha ke sharp
mna di ja fa
wa blind Chiefs FNB o tsama side le 1 how tsama ka how fit benching ya Chiefs
ba ntse ba jwa je
ai ngwana ka monna ba itsekile ntwe it's that so I was taught hore ha ke kena ke tshwareltswa ile grof mo ke before ke step ke ne ke le tshele so re walk otherwise mona o tla utlwa mauto email
hey ndati
ai in fact you get beliefs and it's unfortunate because in football you meet a lot of different people different culture different beliefs and they carry it on to where they go because kintu ya re tshwantse o itise wa bona ya no mna au fitla be di kopana di a phasamisana man di batla ntshana bothaka so di affect everything
ne
wa bona so it's just that but up to so far in what I've said there's a part that I could have done better, but I don't regret because most of the things I wouldn't have known. I became a better person in terms of tripping and falling, of which at this point I can share with these young boys to say, you know what? This is not glitz and glam. Do what you have to do it at your best and move.
Yeah, in fact, very quickly, so that we wrap it up, we believe that people are not, they about 3 hours. When we believe concentration span about like 3 hours. I get bored Linda watching the podcast. Let's say a player that you love, but you're like, I can't finish this thing. 3 hours.
Yeah.
No. But talking about the young boys, I remember at some point you were doing trips to Spain, right? How did that go? I never really got an opportunity to just follow up and follow through, you know?
Well, the group trips didn't go as planned, but I had a few individuals that went.
Yeah.
So, the first trip that I organized was a boy from Joburg, Katleo.